A rocky island smaller than a soccer field. Over 500 people crammed into 2,000 square meters, shoulder to shoulder, wall to wall, wave to wave. Here, there are no roads, no trees, and sometimes no laws. At night, fishermen sleep inches apart, their dreams drowned out by the hum of diesel engines and whispered deals with pirates. Privacy doesn't exist, peace is bought, and every sunrise is a gamble. So here's the question: how did this floating slum turn into East Africa's most sought-after piece of rock? Welcome to the global trail, blazing paths across our world. Migingo, a pinprick in Lake Victoria, barely visible on maps. But in this forgotten corner of Africa, two nations once pointed guns over a pile of rocks. Before the 1990s, Migingo didn't even exist. It was just water. Then the lake receded, and out came the island raw, jagged, and unclaimed. Kenya said we found it first. Uganda replied, "We were here before you even knew it was land." But this fight wasn't just about territory. It was about fish gold with fins. This is not a border dispute. It's a war over survival. But what no one expected was this: a community built on chaos, a home carved out of lawlessness, a future that refuses to drown. The island that rose from the water. Before it became the most crowded island on Earth, Migingo was nothing but water. For centuries, it slept beneath the waves of Lake Victoria, invisible, nameless, irrelevant. Then, sometime in the early 1990s, as the lake's level dropped, a jagged rock began to pierce the surface. What emerged wasn't paradise, it was confusion. Two Kenyan fishermen claimed they were the first to set foot on the newly exposed land in 1991. But by 2004, a Ugandan fisherman insisted he'd found it abandoned, a ghost island waiting to be claimed. The dispute escalated quickly. Uganda said the waters and the rock fell on their side of the invisible line. Kenya insisted otherwise. Tensions rose not because of what was on the island, but what swam around it: tilapia. Fat and plentiful, flickering like currency beneath the surface. Migingo wasn't born out of settlement, it was born out of scarcity. Not a place to live, but a place to take from. But this was only the beginning. Let's now step into the heart of the fight, where flags are ripped, guns are drawn, and loyalties vanish. The borderless battle flags, guns, and taxes. It started with a flag. One day, Kenya raised theirs. The next, Uganda pulled it down and planted their own. Then came the soldiers, both sides, both armed, both claiming peace, while preparing for anything but. For the fishermen caught in the middle, loyalty became a liability. Pay taxes to Kenya, and Uganda arrests you. Obey Ugandan patrols, and Kenyan police threaten to seize your catch. Migingo's residents live in a tug-of-war of sovereignty, with rifles on both ends and tilapia in the middle, and the absurdity runs deeper on some days. Islanders pay taxes to both countries for the same patch of land, the same patch of water, the same right to fish. This isn't governance, it's extortion wrapped in bureaucracy. And yet, no one leaves. Why? Because below the political theater, something even more valuable is swimming. And what they're fighting over could be worth more than gold. Tilapia goldfish, fortune and friction. It's not oil, it's not diamonds, but in Migingo, fish are the new gold. Tilapia thick, silvery, protein-packed shimmer just beneath the surface of Lake Victoria. In recent years, prices have surged by 50%. The best catches. They fetch $300 per kilogram on the international market. That's not just dinner that's rent. School fees, a way out. Every inch of shoreline matters. Every cast of the net is a bet. And with so much at stake, competition turns ruthless. Fishermen sabotage each other's nets. Boats are stolen. Catches disappear in the night. And sometimes, the conflict goes beyond fish. Because this isn't just a battle for food, it's a battle for survival and dominance. But where there's wealth, there's always a predator waiting in the shadows. Lawless waters pirates, bribes, and blood money. On Migingo, the law arrives by boat, and it often demands a cut. At night, shadows move silently across the lake. Pirates armed and ruthless raid fishing boats for engines, nets, even the day's catch. Sometimes, they take more: cash, phones, lives, to protect themselves. Locals pay security fees to maritime police, unofficial taxes in an unofficial economy. The irony. Sometimes, those very pirates wear uniforms by day. There are no courts, no judges. Justice here is bought, bartered, or buried at the bottom of the lake. Fishermen speak in code, hide their best catches, and sleep with one eye open. Safety is not a right, it's a negotiation. But fear isn't the only thing haunting this island. There's something even more fragile than law, and more dangerous when it breaks. Sick and stranded, health on the edge of collapse. If you fall ill on Migingo, pray it isn't serious. There's no hospital, no doctor, just one cramped shack with a single nurse, a few bandages, and fading hope. She stitches wounds, treats malaria, and does what she can with what little she has. But when the fever spikes or the bleeding won't stop, the only option is a risky boat ride to the mainland. And that's if you can afford the fuel. There are no ambulances here, only whispers and water. Sanitation one shared latrine for hundreds. Waste flows into the same lake that feeds them. Disease spreads not just from body to body, but from breath to breath, bucket to bucket. Children cough through the night. Old men limp with untreated injuries. Everyone survives on borrowed time. But if health is a luxury, why stay? Because when night falls, Migingo transforms, and what happens after sunset might just be more surreal than anything by day. Nights of neon hustle, pleasure, and electric dreams. By day, Migingo is a maze of metal and sweat. By night, it glows. 4 bars light up like lighthouses in the dark. Music thumps through tin walls. Generators buzz, and the island exhales just for a moment. Here, a barber also runs a phone charging station. An electrician makes more money wiring shacks than he ever did on the mainland. After the fishing boats dock, another economy wakes up, one built on pleasure, necessity, and escape. Sex workers arrive on small boats from Kenya. Their services as routine as breakfast. There's an open-air casino, a beauty salon, a bootleg liquor stall. Business booms. Even as basic life crumbles, Migingo doesn't sleep because, for many here, night is the only time they feel alive. But beneath the music and neon, something fragile is breaking. A future barely held together teeters on the edge. Fragile peace, fading borders. For a brief moment, peace arrived signed on paper, toasted in speeches. In 2018, Kenya and Uganda agreed to co-manage Migingo. Flags lowered, guns quieted, and for once, fishermen breathed without looking over their shoulders. But the calm didn't last. Weeks later, Ugandan police returned. The Kenyan flag was torn down again. Election officials trying to register residents were chased off the island. Tensions reignited, not just from politics, but from overfishing, climate shifts, and something harder to solve: pride on Migingo. Sovereignty is a moving target. 1 week, you belong to Kenya. The next, Uganda, and always to neither. Really, some politicians call for international courts. Others call for more guns. But the people, they just want to fish, sleep, and live without fear. Because even chaos needs a little stability. And even a rock in the middle of nowhere can carry the weight of a nation. The rock that refused to sink. A floating rock, no bigger than a soccer field, no richer than the lake beneath it, and yet powerful enough to start a war, sustain a village, and challenge the idea of what a country even means. Migingo is more than metal roofs and fish guts. It's resilience packed into 2,000 square meters. It's men risking their lives for a net full of silver. It's women carving out dignity in a place with no space. It's children learning to sleep through generators. Gunshots and gods whispered in the dark. They share toilets. They share fear, but they also share purpose. Migingo isn't paradise. It's not hell. It's a heartbeat on the edge of collapse, refusing to stop. Because sometimes, the most extraordinary stories don't rise from empires. They rise from rocks no one expected to matter.
Could you live in a place where there are no laws, no privacy, no peace, only fish, fear, and a fragile dream? If yes, drop a comment below with yes to chaos. We want to know, would you survive Migingo or thrive in it? And if this island shocked you, wait until you see how people survive 100 days of darkness in Iceland. Click here to explore what happens when the sun disappears. Welcome to the Global Trail, where we blaze paths across our world.